Forrester type company of the social media space. So Radian 6 succeeding is like, that's great, go. You know, it's not competition for Synthesio.
Why not?
So, because they're primarily a tool, a dashboard, and like Synthesio and Meltwater Buzz, we're more in primary research, so more in that category. But you're right, go ahead.
You know, I was going to say that Jeremiah Owing, I don't know if I pronounce, I mean, and I've kind of observed, have broken down this field into the free, which I talked about in London, the self-serve, which is like Radian 6, and then the agency, more human, like Brandtology, Synthesio, Attendio. Those are like customized dashboards that are created for each client. So you can't really test drive them exactly because you've got to make a commitment to them before they even really can see what they can do 100%. Would you agree?
Yeah. It is a challenge for buyers because it's going to... It takes buyers so long to research, options. Nathan Gilead, am I pronouncing it?
Yeah,
right?
Gilat. Yeah, it's got a French name too, I think.
Gilead. He has a very comprehensive and thorough report of 240 monitoring tools. Now, he focuses just on the tools only, so where there are human analysts involved in delivering the product, he didn't analyze those, but it's probably well worth the $995 to buy his report, or talk to someone like Marshall before making a purchase.
Well, I'll give you the answer for free. No, it's okay. No, maybe I should charge $995 to do it.
Well, the social space, with what is it, the digital river. I mean, you could put an eBay book up tomorrow.
I did.
There you go. Yes, sir.
What do you think of Twitter's new resonance?
Their what?
Resonance. That's the new metric that they announced yesterday at Chirp.
Oh, right.
You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, tell us about that. Because I've still bookmarked the Add Anywhere to go back and read as soon as I have time to sit. Tell us about Resonance.
Coming up with something every day.
Resonance is a measurement that goes along with the new Twitter sponsored tweets. And Resonance is a combination of the number of times the sponsored tweet is viewed, because sponsored tweets are only viewed on searches. They're not viewed in a normal tweet stream. So it's impressions plus retweets, but the retweets matter, how many followers of the retweet there are. And then in addition, it's also how many clicks come into a link that might be included in that link, in that sponsored tweet, and all that comes together to form this thing they're calling Resonance. So.
Well, of course, first thing I want to do is see what do they have a number with it? Now, see, I say I'm not quantitative as long as if I have to do the calculations, I'm not quantitative, but if you give me a 1 to 10 score, then see, I can relate to that. So is there 1 to 10 type score?
I haven't seen it.
Well, a lot of times I think that's behind the dashboard. That's behind, you don't actually see it. They're calculating it, and you just see the results of the score.
Which reminds me, I need to check my HubSpot ranking to see if I'm still important or not.
I think you are.
You were last I checked. Up there.
Oh, there. I was being facetious. Please don't check.
I'm going to check.
All right. Now, you all were going to lead a separate Q&A, or are we doing the Q&A right now?
Well, I want to see again who here actually works with social media right now.
Okay.
Wow, I thought there'd be more hands. Really? Yeah. Who wants to get into social media? Wants to learn more about social media?
It's inevitable.
Yeah. Well, certain people you talk to, like this career counselor I spoke to a few years ago, said it was just a trend. And then
Well, and it
I
remains a
wrote
trend.
him, and I wrote him a very friendly email back. Yes.
I'm sorry, I came in late, so sorry everyone. I was
Okay.
mailing
Yeah,
my
sure.
tax.
Yeah.
And I had
Isn't
to
that
get- I
what,
had to make sure I got some
Is
emails.
that today?
I know.
Yeah.
But as someone who works, I freelance in social media.
What's her name?
I'm sorry, Regina Walton.
Hi, Regina.
Hi.
Regina Walton, everybody.
And I met with a potential new client yesterday, and I kind of don't want the people who are not in social media to leave because they might actually be able to answer my question. So, she asked me, the logical question about return on investment and measuring social media, and I walked in the catch. Yeah, but everybody knows you're supposed to ask that now.
But they don't know what they would do with your answers.
Exactly, and I blew off
that
all
good?
these answers, and she was like, "It seems like you know what you're talking about." I'm like,
Okay,
"I know what I'm
you're
talking about."
hired.
But I'm still competing against other people, and I want her to kind of understand the more organic side of it, which is, because basically she's a high-end florist, and I really want this account. But I also want her to understand that a lot of it is going to be going on to weddingchannel.com or The Knot or wherever her potential clients might be, and actually kind of listening to the conversation before just kind of diving in feet first and saying, buy our flowers, but so I'm just kind of wondering, how do you get that over to the client or
That
potential
broadcast,
client?
we work together.
Okay.
She's the director of marketing, and she covers traditional and online. I'm more online and social media. And what's very interesting is, there's still the clients that, did you tweet our promotion? And I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, I always spent 3 hours online with like 10 people talking about the business or somehow engaging. And so there's a line. They want you to push out their message, but you also realize that you need to create a connection between your client and these people, and you're that conduit. And
Right.
Mr. Pennington,
Yeah. That's kind of the catch-22, because I can measure
how are you
stuff to
handling
death,
that
but
when your client says, okay, bottom line, I want to increase my sales by $50,000 to justify my spending $20,000 on you, kind of thing.
Gee,
Yeah, what's the metric?
Sound familiar?
yes, it does, very.
catch-22.
What are you showing your clients as far as metrics?
Well, you have your sales. This is where they need to establish a baseline of, well, first of all, when companies have asked me that so far, I asked them to map out for me their sales cycle, what a typical sale looks like. And when they look at me like, what's a sales cycle? It's like, what's the process people go from being strangers to being customers to being advocates? And they're like, well, they buy our stuff, right?
You know, there's awareness, pre-awareness,
Yeah.
action,
Yes. So that reveals more structural issues, which is where I focus. I am not an ROI guy. I'm not one that's going to tell you that if you get 10,000 followers and you tweet 3 times a day, you will increase your sales by 20%. And if ROI is what you're after, actually, I'm not your guy, because I don't push that. I push the cultural change that changes your outlook so that you start valuing what other people have to say. And then I just have a fundamental belief that if you start valuing what other people have to say and act on that, then good things happen. And I don't have a metric.
Are you